Hello, everyone. We're ready for our very first artist presentation at New York City's Art Expo exhibition, an international gathering of over 200 artists, publishers, and galleries from around the world, showcasing exciting artworks, ceramics, sculptures, and much more. We take you behind the scenes to meet the makers whom we're presenting at this incredible event. Art Expo takes place between April 7th and 10th, so if you're in New York City, it's an unmissable event. The virtual exhibition goes live on April 1st. We will be sharing links to all our webcast interviews with the artists on our YouTube and other social media channels, and of course, share links to our storefront and artist dashboard at Art Expo. Do not forget to follow us on Instagram at let's_curate. Today, I'm speaking to sculptor extraordinaire Wonjoo Park from South Korea. Wonjoo has been featured as one of Korea's 100 contemporary artists by the Arts Council of Korea and has received multiple grants from the National Museum in Korea, USA, Northern Ireland, and Denmark. Wonjoo's works and sculptures are available on our platform, and we will also be sharing links to her special presentation at Art Expo. Hello, and a very big welcome to you, Wonjoo.
Hi, thanks for inviting me so much. And I'm so happy to say hi to all the people, Yeah, it's a great opportunity to me.
I would say exactly the same thing. It's incredible that we get to speak to talent like you from across the world. I'm in New York City and Wonjoo is in South Korea, and it's amazing. And I have the listeners may not know this, but Wonjoo and I have worked a lot over the past year, so it's extra special for me to speak to you today.
Yeah.
So Wonjoo, let's begin by, I'm always curious, when I speak to creative people, I'm always curious about the influence that goes behind your work. What do you think has been your biggest influence when you think of your work as a sculptor?
Well, your question included actually something like my background, education stuff, but I would put my work experience, after like a debut as an artist. So let me show you what it was. My vocabulary power of the vulnerable actually lies in two different media. The lightly crumpled picture frame smoothing you see behind me now, and it's the one, and the other is A4 copy paper construction chair for monophobia. A4 is the counterpart of letter size in the US and Canada. Perhaps you use A4 in your home India, right? So you know very well. Yeah, they are just one of the most universal material. And here I'm willing to say that the biggest influence in my career would be the 2-month-long life as a glasswork rookie during my future glass school residency. Because the both work branches, A4 and glass casting, came out from this same experience in turn. Despite such copy paper and glass casting, looking at a first glance, seem never getting along with each other. I mean, in their physical matter wise, and it was really pivotal to me, and I was really happy when I went back to the school after 12 years when they invited me to teach a creative class in their summer program. And besides, in addition, I as an urban-based sculptor, I was just brought up by the several heavy facilities programs around the world, like John Michael Color Art Center, in the US and VAC in Denmark for matter casting and the Center for Art in Wood and so on. I just appreciate it. Yeah.
So, Wonjoo, this artwork that we see behind you is one of the pieces that we're presenting at Art Expo. Like you mentioned, it's called Smoothing, and it's an work. There was one incident that inspired this idea. I remember you discussing that with me. I wanted you to share that with the listeners because I thought that it was so amazing that you saw that and you thought of smoothing.
So amazing. Oh, you mean what does the title smoothing means? You
yes,
asking
the
me?
title smoothing, and then you remember you mentioned that about the sunlight shining on the piece of crumpled paper, and that gave you the idea.
Oh yeah. Actually, the smoothing, the crumpled, a little bit crumpled glass plate is from the idea of just wrinkled up and dumped a piece of paper and you smoothen out, you know, it turns something very special.
Correct.
Yeah, and then if it's so special and you want to keep that precious, you have to have a frame, you know. Yeah, it was something like that. I'm not sure if the correct answer. Yeah.
No, that is incredible because when you mentioned that, you know, we have looked at crumpled paper so many times. I myself, I mean, we use paper, we crumple it, we throw it away. But this is what creativity is, because you saw that and then you thought of something, and you also used unique materials to work on this artwork, which I think this is why, you know, creative people are so different from regular people, because you can see something beyond. Can you tell me what materials have you used to make smoothing?
It's actually at the very beginning when I start the smoothing framing work, I just crushed the paper, a sheet of paper, and then re-smoothen out, and then put it on the table. And it was just a reference. I just tried to represent all the signs, you know. Yeah. And then now since then I sometimes put some specific message with a specific image in the frame. I still keep the similar way, like a two-fold letter from my father passed away a long time ago. I made one framework with something. It's like a ongoing situation. Yeah.
Fantastic. So you used wood, and what else have you used to make the artwork?
The main is glass plate. So at first I make a glass plate slumped in the oven, like I'm not sure how high it's Fahrenheit, in Fahrenheit, like 300 or 400 or 700 or 800 Celsius oven, and it just slumped down a little bit the condition I want it, and then I take wooden frame to cut off one by one to cover the irregular and uneven surface and the edge, you know, like a normal framing work. Yeah, but the plate is not is a very uneven and irregularly turned by the heat. That's why I have to cut off one by one, step by step, and then put the back plate as well. with wood plate, and then that's all. Yeah. So the basic process is not very different from the normal picture wooden framing, but the thing is the glass plate is not smooth. That's why, yeah, a lot of uh, like putting together pretty big labor, and sanding is the biggest part. To
Incredible.
clean up.
This,
Yeah.
I mean, this, even the steps, even when you're explaining it, I can imagine, the work that must have gone into this. It is fantastic. I have no words for you.
Uh,
You have another presentation, another artwork that you're also presenting at Art Expo, and that's called The 7-Year Itch. By the way, I love the name. It is such a delightful name. And, we will be obviously sharing links to that work. But can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I've already told you I'm kind of nurtured by so many fantastic residency programs. It's one of the production as well. The 7 years each made up during my residence at the Arts Industry of John Michael Kohler Art Center. Which means the Kohler company is a cultural foundation. Yeah, so the quality of the material and technique is just, very famous, Kohler company. Yeah, that's a kind of kidding. Yeah. A pair of mugs arm in arm with each other actually looks so happy. But on the other hand, one alone never is straight up because of being intertwined, and the other part, vice versa. So what would have been going on all the time between the two? So I just meant it doesn't mean some specific case. For instance, a weird people's case. It's just mean, just the ordinary people's normal relationship. Yeah, yours or mine. So I just wanted to say, the closer you get, the further away from yourself. Yeah.
My goodness, Wonjoo, what a messaging. And you're so right. Relationships are never simple, or it's never black and white. Like you said, when you're very close to someone, the closeness is also sometimes a reason to go away from each other. And, I love that the pieces are linked. So and it's not straight. So, the other person is balancing you, but is also imbalancing you, is also kind of making you off center. And this is incredible. I'm so, when I saw that and I saw the title, I immediately realized why you had used that title for that artwork. And I think it's a metaphor for just human connections. They're complicated and it's not simple. You need each other, but you also don't need each other too much.
Right. It's impossible though, to keep balancing. You gotta put out something to keep keep the relationship, and at the same time you take something from the others, and then just start to, so it takes both, I think. And the title 7 years each, actually it's beyond my English ability. So one of my colleagues at the residency gave me the English title, and I was very happy with that. Yeah.
It's the perfect title for the perfect sculptor, for the perfect work. I have to say that. And I love the way you've explained it, because I think anyone who listens to you now will look at that piece in a very different way. You know, this is why I love talking to creators like you, because there is so much, it's almost like a philosophy behind every work. And this particular artwork has such a deep meaning to it. And, you know, it's something that I think it would resonate with anyone who is, and it doesn't have to be a relationship through marriage. It can be friendship, family, neighbors,
Right,
kind of
right.
relationship.
Yeah.
And, you know, you realize it's every relationship and every connection is complicated, but that's the beauty of it. And it's also the pain.
Yeah, actually, that the meaning might weigh a little bit, you know, not really heavy, but I just wanted the relationship in the title, like as a light, as a bird feather, you know, like a joke, you know, yeah.
Wonderful. So, Wonjoo, this is your first time presenting at Art Expo New York City. We are so honored. What does it mean to you to present at this event?
That's it's totally very new to me, you know. I mean, in the prestigious market, especially in New York City, I'm just honestly grateful to you and Let's Curate for working together. You said I'm honored. That's what I'm saying actually. Yeah. So thank you. And I just look forward so much to see what the audience will say my work. Yeah. And then this opportunity that you made, it reminds me of my very first visiting the Sculpture Center office in Queens, you know. I had a meeting for the group show Denier is a River. It was via an international open call. So I fly to New York all the way, you know, at the time. And at the time, I got Lower Manhattan Cultural Council's swing space residence for 3 months to prepare for the show, you know. So the both opportunity was very important to me. I still, even now, I still feel the steel step sounds under my feet, you know, gong, 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 you know, because I had to look at that still to office every time I went to see their shows, whenever I was in the city, you know, it was pretty heart beating. And the same this time for the Art Expo with you. Yeah,
How
yeah,
wonderful.
that's
And
great.
I think you have also captured the spirit of New York in your words. I think it is so true. Anyone who lives in New York City, I've been here for, this would probably be my 14th year in New York City. And
Wow, yeah.
yes, and I know exactly what you mean. There is, you know, there is a buzz, and the heart is beating loud and strong and proud in the city. And it's not an easy place, but it, you know, there's adventure, there's creation, and, you know, there's talent, like just like you. So I know exactly what you mean. Can you
Yeah.
tell us what is the next big thing Wonjoo Park is going to do? I'm so excited to hear about this.
I don't have a huge pocket to keep big things, you know. So it's well, I mean, at this moment, just I hope our interview uh, looks good, and then of course the outcome from the Art Expo NY for both of us, you know, and then including the outcome of Art Expo as well, you know, a successful event. And well, should I put one more in more artistic tones? Then I just remember Cezanne. He he's a Saint Victor Mountain of the day. He painted every day. I heard, yeah, I read actually. So Cezanne's Saint Victor Mountain of the day every day, and So for me, it's like something like a menu of the day every day to me. Yeah, as an artist, so not very different, but uh, every morning is very new, especially with this event. And yeah.
I agree with you 100%. Thank you so much, Wonjoo,